Is this thing on?
Wow, that's a big list for this issue. Yeah, that's great. Running the ragged. Good. That's good.
It is, sure is.
That's the main.
Put these in a
Trying to
separate
keep up with all
folders.
the resends, or there's no work in the resends.
Oh, not bad.
Yeah,
All the
there is.
permits and
The
everything.
permits, yeah, making sure they get everything they need.
That's fantastic.
Mr. Vice Chair, we have a quorum and we're ready to call the meeting to order.
Okay.
I'll do a roll call after you call to order.
All right. We're going to call the meeting to order. Can I have a roll call, please?
All right, Andy. Jake.
Present.
Richard. Here. Tawan. Janelle.
Here.
Jasmine. Selena.
Present.
David.
Yes.
Aaron. All right, we have a quorum.
Thank you. I have a motion for approval of minutes.
So moved.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. All in favor? Signify by saying
Who made the motion?
aye.
I did. All right, Rich motion, Dave second. All right.
Thank you. Do we have any public comment? Hearing none, move on to the secretary report.
All right, thank you. Currently, we have 274 blighted properties on the blighted property list before today's meeting. Currently, right now, on the judicial tax sale list, there are 7 blighted properties identified. That sale has been postponed until January 13th and 14th of 2026. So it moves from December till January. So that's my report.
Thank you. Do we have any correspondence?
No correspondence.
Okay, let's move on to old business. We have properties for rescission of blight.
Yep, up first, we have a nice list of some rehabs to show everyone. The first property on the list is 254 East 30th Street. Give Aaron a second to get some pictures up there to show you guys. Yep, this one was rehabbed. It had everything from electrical, plumbing, and building permits. It was a complete interior renovation. It was passed all the inspections and passed final inspection and is ready to be rescinded.
That's great. I'll move.
So we'll go through and do them
We'll
all.
go through it.
Was this the one that was like the basement was going in, or it had been through for a long time?
Yeah, there was the basement foundation wall had actually collapsed. They had to get a building permit and jack it up and rebuild the wall, and they
Okay.
did all kinds of things.
That picture, I recognized the front of it, and I
Yeah,
remember it had been through
The neighbors
in front of us for a while.
The neighbors were surprised that somebody actually saved it, but indeed this person did, and they're actually that specific person's interested in doing more. She was all excited about it. She's very happy with it. So
All right, bring up the next one.
up next we have 2606 Jackson. This was a developer agreement, and they got plumbing permits, fence permit, furnace permits, and building permits for a back deck that they added. This property is occupied by the person who rehabbed it, and it's ready to be rescinded. Then we have 4008 Melrose. This property was blighted based on the exterior conditions of the property. There was no owner. I believe the property was tied up in an estate, and that's what took so long for anything to happen with it. There were some repairs made to the back of the garage. The siding was off the back of the garage. And they did flooring and painting on the interior. I went through the whole property. There was no other work done or needed at this property. They've got all the utilities on. There's a new owner. It was a gentleman who bought his first home, and he was very adamant that he get it off the blighted list now that he's the new owner of the property. The next rehab we have here is 2712 East Ave. This was another developer agreement with the redevelopment authority. They got electrical permits, plumbing permits, furnace, and I passed the final rescind inspection on October 29th. You'll see some pictures here. This was another property that was saved by an ambitious rehabber.
And this one went through a lot. This was code enforcement. So, there was a lot of kind of a hoarding, squatting situation. They had a substantial amount of junk and debris in the property. So this was one that kind of went through the code enforcement blight process, redevelopment authority process for some time. And there was a lot of work, a lot of collaboration that came together, between Public Works cleaning it up and all that. It was, graffiti all over the inside. And I mean, it was, so to see this one, and, unlike all the other ones, just come to this point where it's success of what we do and the work that goes into getting these properties back on the.
Looks great.
So.
Another owner occupied?
No, this one, it'll either be sold, I think it's up for sale. It's up for sale. So that's all I have for the rehabs. Is that correct? Oh, no, I had 1057 West 32nd Street.
Oh, I don't have pictures for that one.
No, I don't, because that was a late
That was the
ad.
add-on late, yeah.
If you guys would like, we can send you guys some pictures afterwards. This one, I was off on vacation, as I said, and I got a phone call. They asked, hey, can we get on the agenda? And it slipped my mind, so I had asked Aaron to add it, but this morning I was supposed to put pictures in the file, and I did not. But this one was blighted on, another one that was like the Melrose property that was blighted based on the exterior of the structure. The interior of the structure, there was a couple minor things done. They had to get a permit. They installed a hot water heater, and they needed a permit for that. So I had them get a permit. There was a couple property maintenance violations that needed corrected, and they did all of that. This one was caught in the process of being sold, and that's one way a lot of these rescinds come to me is they're going through sale, and then all of a sudden they do a deed search and they go, what, it's blighted? And then they call me in a hurry and they're like, how do we do this? How do we do this? So that's my fault for not getting those pictures added to the file this morning. Like I said, I was on vacation. And then the last two we have here they were just demolitions. These are vacant lots now. First one's 629 West 10th Street. We had an enormous amount of case history with this one. I worked on this one since it started. And when I started in 2018, there was a hole the size of a pickup truck in the back of the roof. The gentleman lived there all the way up until last year's snowstorms, when the snowstorm collapsed the front porch. And that was his only way in and out, because the rear of the house, all 3 stories, had collapsed, so there was no way out of the back. And I had tried everything I could to get him to leave the property and offered assistance, and he just would not, until he had to call the fire department to get him out because the porch on the front collapsed and he had no way in or out anymore. So seeing this one was signed over to the redevelopment authority by the owner. He agreed to have it demolished. He kind of came to his senses and said, yeah, I can't live here anymore. And then we were able to get it demolished.
And the owner was the gentleman who was living there?
Yes, yes. And then the last rescind here we have is another vacant lot. It's 921 Walnut. My
933
apologies.
East 5th.
933 East 5th. This was another demo done by the Erie Land Bank. I finalized this demolition on October 14th. And now that's all I have for rescind.
Okay, thank you. Do we have a motion to rescind blight on the properties?
I'll move.
Moved by David, second by Rich.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. All in favor? Say
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you. Under new business, we have properties for declaration of blight.
Yep, we have 4 properties to declare blighted at this meeting. The first property we have is 921 Walnut. This property has been owned by the current owner since 1993, and it has also been vacant for 13 years. This was brought to my attention and to our office's attention starting at the beginning of this year. We've always had a case history with it because of the porch and just the exterior violations, but it was brought to our attention in a more serious capacity this year when people started breaking and entering, and we had squatter situations there. There are no active utilities. The water was shut off October 31st of 2012. They only owe $41 on the water bill. They don't owe anything in taxes. They are current on the taxes. We've had 5 cases with this owner. 10 notices of violation have been sent to this owner, 8 of them in the last year with multiple phone calls, but all false hope, no progress made. I personally had to secure this property on a couple different occasions with the inspector for that area. And with the interior of the structure, because we had to secure it, we were able to see some of the interior. It's half gutted and half kind of rehabbed, but it's been ransacked. And with all of the issues on the interior and the permits that are going to be required to make this thing right, we're asking for a blight declaration.
Okay, do we have a motion?
So moved.
Rich.
Second.
David.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. All in favor? Say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Thank you.
And next we have 611 Wallace. Here again, this is another property that was brought to our attention because of a squatter situation, people breaking and entering. The owner of this property got it on a special warranty deed in 2020. The water's been shut off since June of 2023. They owe $1,700 in the water bill. They're behind in taxes 23, 24, and 25 for $2,800. There's been no movement from the owner, and when we were called there by EPD to secure the property, you can see the conditions. All of the wiring has been cut from the structure. Any pipe of any value, any metal of any value has been stripped. So we did go ahead and secure the front and rear door, and we've sent notice to the owner. The owner is out of town and is kind of in over his head on this one. He has talked to us, but he's not sure what he's going to do. He did come into town shortly after I added it to this week's agenda for the meeting, and he did board all the windows and doors. But at this point, he's not sure what he's going to do, and because he's back in taxes, I have a feeling he's probably just going to let it go. And that's another reason we're asking to have that blight declaration, because we want to try to control the rehab of it, or what, we got to make sure with all the wiring and everything being removed, we got to make sure permits are got.
Okay,
Motion to blight, Aaron.
I'll second. Motion and a second. All in favor? Aye.
And up next, we have 813, 815 East 23rd Street. This property was also obtained on a special warranty deed in 2020. It's been vacant for just over a year. The water was shut off last July, and they owe just shy of $12,000 in a water bill. So that indicates to me that there was a water main break in the basement, and it's probably been trashed. I have not been inside this property. They owe 21, 22, 24, and with an estimated value for this year's taxes, they owe just shy of $7,000 in taxes. I believe this was a multi-unit rental property. There's been no response from the owner. We've got 8 cases all time with this property, 5 cases with the current owner. 6 notice of violations have been sent to the current owner with 0 response. The inspector for that area asked that I blight it because of the lack of response from the owner and the back taxes, and he's just not getting anywhere with it.
Is it occupied?
It is not occupied.
Okay, do we have a motion?
I'll move.
David?
I'll second.
Rich?
Okay, motion and a second, all in favor?
Aye.
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 And lastly, we have 1701 Cascade. This property I actually dealt with. This was in my old code enforcement area for many years, and it's never improved. There's always been exterior violations, but it was occupied by an older gentleman when I was in the area, and he would keep the grass cut. But in recent time, there's been no attention to the property. They're behind in taxes for 22, 23, 24, and with an estimated value for this year's taxes just shy of, or just over $6,300. The water has been inactive since May of 2023, and they owe $1,300 in their water bill. We've got 4 cases all time with this property, 7 notice of violations to the owner, many of which have had little to no response. Now, this year, we did get some phone calls. The new inspector for that area got some phone calls, and we posted the order to, or the repair or demolish order that I typically would post prior to declaring blighted a couple months ago, and the owner called in, said this, that, and the other thing. So I said, okay, well, we need to see some progress. No progress was made, so the inspector came back to me 2 months later and said, we need to blight this property. There's not going to be any progress here. So with the lack of response and the condition of the property, we're asking for a blight declaration.
Nobody's living there, or?
Nobody is currently living there, yeah. The owner of the property claims to be living with her mother, but I don't know where the truth is, or what's going on. Like I said, we've gotten the runaround for quite some time now, and I think it's time we put a blight declaration on it. And maybe that just motivates the owner to come out of the woodwork and make this thing right, and we can add it to another long list of rescinds for another future meeting.
Excellent. Do we have a motion to blight?
Motion.
Oh, sorry.
Motion, Aaron.
I'll have second.
Rich, second.
Okay, we have motion and second, all in favor?
Aye.
Say
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you. Being no other business, we have a motion to adjourn.
I'll move.
I'll second.
Thank you, everybody.